What's up guys, today we're gonna be fixing most of the phones from the last video. I'm still looking for a Poco F1 mainboard, but we actually have everything else available to fix the rest of them. Back glass for the Alcatel and the screen with a frame, since the difference in the price was like 50 cents. For the TCL we have a camera glass with this plating for the mainboard and an LCD. Fortunately I couldn't get one with mainboard for any good price. I'm not even sure if there was one available at all. For the LG, well, you just have to reglue the screen, so it already has all it needs. As for the Huawei, we got another Huawei. This one is in good condition, even with the original case. The mainboard in it is dead, and the power button is also broken. So we're just gonna transfer the power button from this one and the mainboard from it into this one. And eventually I'm gonna test to see which battery of the two is better. Let's get into it. We're gonna start off with the Alcatel. So first of all, we have to heat up the back. For this job I have my heating mat. That's what I'm using. It's a Sunshine LS3 Mini. You can see about how big it is. So I'm just gonna leave the phone on the mat for about 5 minutes. And we're gonna get back into it. Alright, so 5 minutes have passed and the phone is heated up at this point, which means the adhesive is softened. Good to use gloves for stuff like this, because this was a small piece of glass that the broken back will release. So you have to be careful with that. These aren't like very thick gloves, these are just standard ESD anti-static gloves, but they're still better than nothing. Gotta remove the SIM card tray. I think the frame on this phone is actually supposed to be removed first, because it's separated from these parts with the screws. That's why what my guess is. And of course I haven't disassembled a phone like this before, like an Alcatel 3X. Yeah, I was actually correct. The side frame seems to be able to be removed separately from these plastic shootings. There are more screws underneath them, underneath the side frame. Interesting design choice. Oh, I can carry on. Gonna check if these screws are the same size. I bet they are. They usually use one type of screws on phones like this. Yeah, they look identical to the other ones. Okay, with those screws now, we can move on to removing the plastic plating. Being careful with the fingerprint cable, which goes underneath it. Alright. We can remove it safely like this. We can actually have a look at the main board. Actually looks fine. I don't see anything concerning. This shooting looks a little bit pushed. This could be like that from the factory, who knows, with these Alcatel phones. Alright, clipped out this plastic, and now basically we have to transfer everything into the new frame. But before that we're gonna test out the new screen. This should be the USB and this should be the screen. That's what I think. Okay, it has enough power to give me the battery flat sign. It looks good. I'm just gonna hook it up. Alright, we're gonna give it a minute or two. Code. I'll be dealing with that later. Alright. Actually looks like a pull tab. Okay, I get it. So I'm gonna put a bit of alcohol. I'm actually gonna heat up the phone again a bit. So you see there's some dirt on the camera lens, the inside of them. Try to clean that up. Generally, this kind of stuff is very hard to clean, so give it a try. Well, I actually managed to clean them up after my efforts pretty well. Okay, so the phone has been heated up. Should be able to remove the batteries now. Yep, it's good. Didn't take much to come out. Battery looks all good. I'm just gonna straighten these bumps a bit. I'm gonna leave it on the side. Have to transfer the main board, the flex cable, and the USB. Just gonna take at least one of my gloves off because it's not very comfortable working with them. This flex cable is actually glued in. I'm gonna heat it up a bit. So we heat up the phone on the mat. Now we can easily unglue the flex cable. That's good to do to reduce the chance of damaging it. It's possible this board is also glued with adhesive. I just cannot know. I don't see any screws. It's just sitting here. I'm going to put some alcohol to be safe, and I'll try prying it out from maybe this side. Yeah, it was actually glued here. It's not something I like when they start gluing stuff together like this. For the speaker, it's probably also glued in. I'd rather not use much force here. I'll leave this for later. Let's remove the main board for now. When it comes down to these coaxial cables, I usually prefer not to mess around with them at all. Because on some phones like this one, especially cheaper, low quality phones, they can be fragile. It's better to, if possible, to just leave them like this and not mess around with them. That's what I'm gonna attempt to do. Gonna figure out how does this main board come out. I think the cameras appear to be glued in onto the frame or something. I'm just gonna unplug them. Okay, let's see if it's gonna come out now. Yeah, just like that. Can remove the whole main board and the board together. Okay, so well, guess what? I have to heat this thing up again. So the phone has been heated up by now, and we can try to remove all these glued in elements like the cameras, speaker, the vibration. So these are the side keys. Definitely need to transfer these. Right, these are secured in place. think I'm actually gonna have to heat up the phone a bit more. Otherwise I'm like risking to mess them up. Especially stuff like the earpiece and the speaker, when you pull it out it can split in half and audio quality would be ruined. I'm going to heat up the phone again. Alright, so the phone's heated up again and you can continue. This flex on the vibration is very thin. Usually this kind of flexes are reinforced with metal, but in this case I can't feel that. First I'm gonna try to pry it out with a plastic tool. Just like that. And yeah, this fixed cable, it has no metal underneath it, it's very weird. And just transfer it to the new frame. Thought that adhesive is good enough to still use for this job. We can carry on to the next element. Cameras. Honestly, this is gonna be hard. If we force this out through the cable, we risk damaging them. I don't know how hard are they glued. If we use isopropyl alcohol, it can get inside the sensor. So that's not good either. And I'm gonna have to heat up the phone again. So I just thought it's just gonna be better to do this. While the phone is still hot, it's easier to pull out the glued-in elements like the cameras. Even by the flex cable, I'm just gonna start moving them around. And little by little, they will get loose. We're not gonna force them out. You can also push them from the sides like this, whenever possible. These cameras are glued in so hard, it's crazy. Okay, the first camera gave in. The second camera came out. It's coming out. Finally. They were glued in so hard for some reason. Before I transfer the cameras, I want to transfer like these tape things. Alright, so I transferred all of these things. Transfer the other button. We have some rubbers here that we also transferred. Okay, we did it. We transferred the top and bottom speaker. Okay, I can transfer this little mesh as well. I have one more on the bottom. Alright, everything is transferred at last, and we can begin assembling the phone. I'm gonna start with the cameras. I'm gonna put a bit of glue here. The main camera is gonna be a bit harder to fixate because in the new frame the hole is too big. I'm actually gonna put it after I put the main board because of this issue. One quick tip when you're working with such Chinese frames is do not tighten the screws too much. If it stops, it stops. Because sometimes you can just drill through the screen. I forgot to plug in the fingerprint. Alright, this took way longer than it should have. I had to disassemble this part again because I had routed the fingerprint cable in the wrong way. Cleaned up the side frame of camera, cleaned the meshes of the speakers, of the top mic, the bottom mic soles here, cleaned up the auto adhesive so we can just assemble the phone finally. So this is the new bag that we got. First of all, we're gonna put the camera ring. This already has tape, so we're just gonna use that. It's weird that the sides have like none at all. Is this how it's supposed to be from the factory? The old bag had some tape on the sides too. There is also this like graphite like tape here in the middle. Wonder if this can be transferred. I'll give it a shot. Can I actually manage to transfer these from the old bag? So maybe I should actually give this a last test boot. So it seems to be working, so we're just gonna continue with the assembly, which is just the back glass left for now. So I have these strips. They actually came with the TCL screen. They're pretty thin, so that's perfect. I'm just gonna do this. Right, we're looking pretty good here. So I'm gonna deal with this passcode off screen and I'll be right back. It's done. I unlocked it. Everything works. Touchscreen works perfectly. The cameras work. There's no problem with this phone. Microphone works. It's running Android 10. We have 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage. Security patch is still from 2021. I think they updated this thing for just 1 year and then no more updates. It does work quite okay. We have a Helio P22 octa-core processor. This one has just Cortex A53 core, so it's not particularly good. I don't have another phone like this though, so it would be cool to test some games on this thing to see how it's gonna perform with this Power VR GPU. Right, on to the next phone. And now we're gonna continue with the TCL by installing the new screen and camera glass. First of all, I'm actually gonna clean up the phone. Just a bit with a wet wipe because it's quite dirty. Generally, I could also use like alcohol, but alcohol on old plastics is a bad idea, or on any plastics anyway. It's just gonna mess up the finish even more. It's like it's already pretty messed up on this phone to begin with. Just gonna make it worse if I use alcohol. The phone is now cleaned up as much as it can be. And we're gonna continue by heating it up on the mat. Alright, the phone is heated up now, so we can continue with the assembly. Removing the SIM tray first because we can forget about it later. Alright, the back is successfully removed. We're gonna clean that up later. Alright, we have a red water indicator here. Does look fine though, maybe this was from the alcohol. We can test out the new screen first. The flex cable on the screen looks a bit bent here. Don't think this will be an issue, but it's something that definitely needs to be tried in this condition. I'm gonna try out the touchscreen real quick. Touchscreen seems to work perfectly fine. The date of the phone is 27th March of 2024. Maybe this was when the phone was last used. So with the screen confirmed working, we're just gonna continue with the installation. So now we have to basically remove the old screen and glue the new one. But before we remove the old screen, it's better to remove the main boards. It's not a must, like you can do this kind of a repair without removing it, but it's just gonna be safer to do so. In fact, I've done it constantly without removing the main boards and this kind of phone. Generally, unless you're really short on time, I recommend you to do it if you're doing this kind of thing. The issue with these Chinese phones is that they're really inconsistent when it comes down to removing the main boards. I don't really have an idea how am I supposed to pull it out of here, other than trying from different places with like a plastic tool and see if it decides to budge. So we have a lot of antennas here. It's 1, 2, 3 antennas. Maybe it's for the 5G. Don't like removing coaxials, but it's better to do so in this case. Okay, I think I'm gonna remove the battery first actually. Like I have to do it anyway to get to the screen cable. But I think it might be key to removing the main board as well. Oh, this worked very well. The pull tabs actually worked perfectly fine. Didn't expect that we have a heat pipe on this phone. Unusual in this kind of a phone. I think we'll be able to pry out the main board from down here. And just like with the Alcatel, the cameras are glued to the frame, so we have to unplug them. With all these things removed, we can pull out the main board. And wow, it's actually a huge amount of thermal compound here. Surprisingly, it really is a lot. Didn't expect to see something like this in a TCL phone, although this was a higher end TCL phone back in the day. Like they didn't have anything much better than this thing when it came out. I'm just gonna leave the main board on the side and we're gonna continue. The old screen cable is it's using dried up tape to stick. Right now we're just gonna get the old screen loose with some heat and we're gonna push it out. Alright, the screen is heated up, so we can remove it now. That we can just push it out from the hole with the cable. It's actually bending the plastic frame as well, so we're just gonna separate it from it. So this screen is obviously broken, so I'm not really careful about the cables or anything, because it doesn't matter if I tear them or not. Right, we have to clean up the old frame now and fix it up, because this is not ideal the way it is right now. Right, it's looking pretty good now. So first of all, I'm gonna have to glue this plastic frame to the mid frame. This is like around the screen, and as you can tell, it's very loose. It's held by some sort of adhesive. For this kind of stuff, B7000 does the job. Right, so the frame is finally glued in place. This will have to stay clamped for like a day in order to get to be good. After that I'm gonna clean the excess and I'll glue the screen. Because if I glue the screen right now, it's likely that the frame itself will not get glued well. And we're probably gonna get a loose screen result.
The next day.
Alright, so we took our time and now the plastic frame is decently glued in. It's been around 12 hours since I did it, which is enough for us to continue. And we're gonna do so by gluing in the screen. I have cleaned up the excess glue that was on the inside. You should do that especially on the bottom near the cables. You don't want that to be applying pressure to the screen. Around the earpiece in the sensors we're gonna apply a bit less, or putting a bit more on the corner. Right, we're done here with the glue. That's enough. We're just gonna peel this plastic. now we can proceed to gluing in the screen. So we have to insert the cable first. Now peeling this battery tape back. I'll actually remove that in the end, we'll see it's even kind of dry. Just double checking I peeled all tapes. Just a second, sometimes they put the tape in here. Oh yeah, it's tape. Almost missed this. Wouldn't have been the end of the world, but still. Okay, we gotta work fast and glue it before the glue starts drying. Starting off the bottom in this case. Alright, this looks pretty messy right now, but that's how it is with these screens. We're gonna start clamping it down, starting with the corners. Do not apply too much pressure, I'm just checking for that right now. If it's loose, we need to do a bit more, that's enough. Generally recommend the bigger part that's not applying the pressure to be onto the screen. Alright, it's been like 12 hours since we clamped the screen, so this is enough for us to continue the repair. I'm just gonna remove the clamps for now, and we're gonna see what's going on. Seems like we haven't glued in the buttons, which is good. Okay, this is certainly a bit of an issue. At least on the corners it's actually okay. It is in here up to like this point and then starts going out. I'm actually going to try to correct this right now. Carefully, of course. Alright, I messed around with more and actually got the screen to get into the frame. Finally. This needs some glue here. I'm gonna apply that before I glue the back, but at least we can finally continue with the repair without me being too worried about it. If I left it as it is, the issue is that I'm risking like to have the screen break a lot faster, a lot easier. We did chip the glass a little, like in the corner, another one here, but it's not a crack, this is just a chip. Again, if it gets hit on that spot, it can turn into a crack, but fine. It's fine for now. I'm gonna put a screen protector too afterward. I think I'm actually gonna open up this part here and see if there's anything I need to clean or down there. Actually looks alright, I don't see any surprise here. Can clear the speaker holes, why not? It's a bit easier with the speaker out. This on the right is for the microphone, I think. At least the battery at last. Oh, this doesn't feel sticky, so I don't know if we should put it in any different way. Okay, should be like this. It really isn't sticky anymore, but it's not moving, so I guess it's sticky enough. I forgot when there's 3-point jack, it has to go in first. One of the camera connectors has thermal paste on it now, it's great. No, it's so hard to get all the connectors, like on the right side. One for antenna or something, it's down. One of the little antennas is under the main board. Great. Oh, thank God this worked. It's going to be matte. Actually scratched up the antenna. Just the rubber part though, it's gonna be fine. It could be even like that from when I pulled it out initially. Okay, yeah, I double checked. The white one is indeed up and the black one down. Okay, we're almost ready. It's great to see. That's the new camera glass. Alright, it's looking great. Also, let's give this a test boot, because I'm a bit worried I broke the screen. Okay, it seems to be fine. I'm gonna clean the frame up and we're gonna get to gluing the back glass. Back plastic more like. Alright, I cleaned up the old adhesive so we can glue the back now. The back is already cleaned up too. I'm also gonna apply some glue here where I messed around with the screen. Don't know how well it's gonna work out, but I'm gonna try at least. Alright, that's good. The screen went in the plastic frame exactly as it should. And the TCO is all done. There was no issue to remove the passcode. I already tested the phone, it works perfectly fine. Here is a Geekbench run I did. This was a Geekbench GPU run and another one. The performance of this phone is very decent. It can very well trade blows with budget phones around the 100 and 150 euros range. While at the same time this phone, the device plus the parts, it cost me I think around 25 euros or so. The only nitpick I have is that I can't update to Android 11. It has an update, but TCL has shut down the servers for these like older phones up to 2021 and this device from 2020. So as of today's date, there is absolutely no way to upgrade this phone to Android 11, sadly. Thank you for watching. We fixed the Alcatel and the TCL. I'm actually gonna peel off the film right now of the TCL, because I still haven't done that. Looking pretty good with this screen. Of course the frame is still quite beat up, but at the very least it's not broken anymore and fully working. I actually got this screen protector here that was sent with the Alcatel, but it's actually too big for it. So I tried to install it and then I put the film back on it because it didn't fit. I'll try to install it on the TCL instead, which should be a better fit. We're gonna see how well it turns out. Well, it's not perfect, but actually I think I did a pretty good job, considering that I already had put the protector on another phone. There aren't any major bubbles. It's almost flawless. So at least this protector is gonna be used on something, even though it's for neither of these phones. So stay tuned for part 2 where we're gonna be fixing the LG G3 and the Huawei P8 Lite. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe